So have you ever tried to start a business of your own? You have these ideas flooding in your mind and you've always wanted to own or start a business. This video is for you. And I want you to bookmark this video and save it because you'll be hearing the nuggets that I've gathered over the last 15 years that has helped me in building and scaling my business. And I hope it does that for you too. So today we'll be talking about entrepreneurship. What exactly is entrepreneurship? What does it mean to be an entrepreneur? What does it mean to start a business? I must state clearly here that entrepreneurship is hard at first, but over time, it becomes easy for you to do. It's like just driving a manual vehicle. I don't know if for you, those that have driven manual vehicles before, when you're driving a manual vehicle, you need to face the road and still control the gears. It's difficult at first, but over time, you become good at it. So it's not that entrepreneurship becomes easy. What matters is that you become good and better at it. So in this video, we're talking everything about entrepreneurship. So what is entrepreneurship? Entrepreneurship is an act of creating and developing a business venture. What that means is that it involves identifying opportunities, it involves solving problems, and it involves taking calculated risks. And when you look around you, there are loads and loads of problems to solve. But what mistake I notice is that many people try to solve problems that people are not willing to pay for. And because you are solving a problem that is not real and the users or the audience or the market is not ready for, you therefore struggle. So it's important that you understand what problem you are built to solve so that you can solve that problem and make money from solving that problem. So therefore, entrepreneurship is solving a problem. So therefore, you must have a problem-solving mindset. The problems that moves the needle in the direction of the clients, what they are faced with, their pain points. So you as an entrepreneur, you bring the transformation to their businesses, to their operations, and they are willing to pay you for it. That is simple. So one question I'd like to ask you is, can you just look around you? One question is, what problem are you built to solve? Number two is, what problems are you skilled to solve? That is what you should be looking at for your entrepreneurial journey. Now, let me give you a background story. When I started my business 15 years ago, I started selling in the social media space. I was providing a solution to banks. And at that time, there were a few of us in the market, and we were providing that solution. But I was doing that while still working my 9-to-5 job. And it was after I'd built some level of resources and income and revenue for the business that I left my job. So this answers the question many people ask me, Coach, when can I leave my job? Can I just leave my job to start a business? My advice is that before you start a business, you must first test it first, right? Validate it first before just leaving your 9-to-5. That's important. So what are the types of entrepreneurs? Let me give them 6 of them. Number 1, they are the innovators. The innovators are the likes of Elon Musk and Steve Jobs. What they do is that they create solutions and products that are entirely new. They are the innovators. And then number 2, you have the imitators. The imitators are those that understudy a particular sector, understudy a particular space and a business, and then they take all their learnings, all the lessons they have learned, all the systems they have discovered and developed, and then they take it into a different niche. And it's very important, I must say, that you must never underrate the power of a good imitator. So they take lessons from an industry and they move it to the next industry. And then you have another category called the scalers. These may not be people that necessarily will start a business from scratch, but they understand the efficiency of building systems, structures, and they can scale that business idea to greater heights. Scalers. And then you have the next one, the social entrepreneurs. These are people that solve societal problems with entrepreneurship. And this is very important. You have the last category that I call the intrapreneurs. These are people that are under the employment of a business, but what they do in that business is that they build business units within that business. So there's no good or right answer to it. You just need to find which category you belong to, whether you are an innovator, an imitator, a scaler, a social entrepreneur, a serial entrepreneur, an intrapreneur. So let me state this clearly here, that real business is in the mind. And I love what Henry Ford says. He says that if you think you can, you're right. And if you think you can't, you are also right. So entrepreneurship doesn't necessarily mean having all the money in the world. What it means is you have the right vision, you have the resilience and the grit to push through in the business space. Now, several millions of people start business every year. Over 580 million people start businesses in the world. But guess what? 90% of them fail. And this video, I don't want you to be among the 90% that fail. And that's why you must understand exactly what entrepreneurship means to you, the category you fall under, and what works for you. So 90% of them fail, not because they have poor products, but because of poor mindset and poor execution. So entrepreneurship starts in the mind. Now, we're talking about the mind again. The mind is the bedrock of everything, right? You want to build a business that will outlive you, it starts from the mind. You want to build a business that scales, it starts from the mind. You want to build a business that solves problems and gives transformation to people, it starts from the mind. So whether you think you can or you think you can't, you're right. Do you think you can? The answer is for you. I want to hear your answers in the comment section. Okay, for those that do not know me, my name is Shino Salako, and I'm an entrepreneur. I help businesses to scale, to start the right way, and I'm a leadership coach with the John Maxwell leadership team. So, what are the 5 mental traits every entrepreneur must have? What are the 5 mental traits? This is very important. And this is what you use to gauge yourself whether you are actually ready for this journey. Because entrepreneurship is not a sprint, it's a marathon. So, number 1 is vision. It's vision. And the question is, can you see what doesn't exist yet? Entrepreneurs are people who believe in the invisible. They believe in creating what is not possible. So in the midst of chaos, entrepreneurs see clarity. In the midst of challenges, entrepreneurs sees opportunity. Vision, they envisage what potentials that they carry and what problem they can solve with that potential. And then the next mental trait is courage. You see, that business that you are afraid to start could actually be the business that will change the trajectory of your life. But because you lack courage, I must say that courage is not the absence of fear. Sometimes you have to do it afraid. That is what is required as an entrepreneur. And then number 3, which is I think one of the most important mental traits, is problem solving. Problems. All essence of entrepreneurship is to solve problems. Why else will people pay you if you're not solving their problems? Why would they pay you money when you're not solving their problems? What problem does MTN solve? They solve communication problems. What problem does Flutterwave solve? They solve payment issues, paystack problem. What problem are you built to solve? I wrote here that every naira you would ever make in business is tied to solving a problem. Every single naira or kobo you'll ever make, or from people dollars, is tied to solving a problem. So you must be a problem solver. You must have the orientation of a problem solver. So when people are complaining about seeing challenges and issues, you are looking at it from a point of view of solving a problem. Okay? Very, very important. Then, the 4 mental trait is that you must have resilience. Remember I mentioned in the beginning that entrepreneurship is hard at first, and then you become better. So while the wind is blowing, policies in the economy is changing, governmental policies are changing, structures are changing, there's an increase in competition, all of that, you need to build resilience. If you say you are called into entrepreneurship and you are called to be an entrepreneur to solve problems, then you must have resilience. Because the truth is that success belongs to those that stay longer. Very, very important. And then the last one is continuous learning. Continuous learning. You see, one of my coaches says to me every time, and I love what she says, that the business you're trying to build can be sabotaged by the person you refuse to develop or build. So you can disrupt or sabotage that business you're building. And John Maxwell puts it rightly. And he talks about the law of the lead. I don't know if you have read any of John Maxwell's book, The Law of the Lead. The business you want to build, assuming is at this level, right? And your leadership skill is at this level. Your business can never grow above your leadership skill. That's the law of the lead. So if you want to increase the capacity of your business and you want to scale it to this height. Increase your leadership skill and your leadership lead so that your business can grow to the level of that lead. So always remember this, the law of the lead. You are the person that will build a business, but you must continuously learn. The world is changing. AI has come to disrupt, but the truth of the matter is that AI will not replace you if you are one given to continuous learning. You must be a learner for life. Times are changing. What industry newsletters do you subscribe to? The business you want to build. Are you subscribing to any newsletter? Do you have mentors that you follow? These are key requirements and mental traits that you must possess. So John Maxwell puts it rightly. He says your business grows only to the extent that you do. You want your business to grow? Then grow. So let me give you my framework for starting a business. I call it the vision, validation, customer, cash, scale framework. And I call it from the idea to income, execution to framework. So the vision is the idea, right? That is you spotting the problem you want to solve. It could be people in your community need water and you provide that for them. It could be that people in your community need human resources management, you provide that, or social media management, you provide that. You have spotted that problem, that's the vision. But after solving that problem, before you fully turn it into a business, you must validate it. And this is where most people miss it. They don't validate their business. Oh, I heard the business that somebody says this business sells. You jump into it. Oh, I heard that if I invest 1 million into this business, I'm going to get 10 million in the next month. The question is, do you have the audience type of the person that is making money from that business? Do you have the skills that the person that is making money from that business possesses? Do you have the mental capacity that the person possesses? Do you have the uniqueness and the unique selling point that the person possesses? If you don't, you can't make the money the person makes. So you must validate the business. Before you build, sell the idea to a small group of people. And let me shock you, 42% of businesses fail because no market needs their products. So therefore, it's important that you validate. How do you validate? Ask a group of people, a survey. I'm trying to sell this product. For example, when COVID hit, we brought in thermometers from the market. And we felt that everybody needed thermometers to check their temperature. Now, that was a business that failed. Why? Because we failed to validate it. And because we failed to validate it, eventually we're giving those thermometers as gifts to people. If we had validated, we would have known that we didn't carry or have the uniqueness or the peculiarity or the audience or the market that we needed that product. So validate. This is important so that you don't fall among the 42% of businesses that fail. If you're getting value in this video, just click the like button, subscribe to my channel. I'm super excited to be giving value and to see you transform that idea to a real business. Number 3 is customers. Do you know your customers? Do you know their age, their gender, their location, their lifestyle, their pain points, their buying behavior? Do you know your customers? You can't sell to everyone. Everybody is not your market. So you must know who your customers are and know how to reach them. Very important. And then once you have gotten to that point, you must begin to create a solution that sells, that bring cash, because sales is the lifeblood of your business. If you hate to sell, let me say this categorically, if you hate to sell, then you cannot be an entrepreneur. The first duty of an entrepreneur is sales. You must sell. You're selling to your stakeholders, you're selling to your external stakeholders, you're selling to your internal stakeholders, you're selling your vision, you're selling the transformation, you're selling your products. And please, you are selling, sell the transformation your solution brings. Don't sell the futures. Apple don't sell the futures. They sell the transformation. They sell the feeling that you get from using their products. And you must remember that humans are first emotional before being logical. So sell, because that's the lifeblood of your business. And when you're selling, make an irresistible offer to your clients. The problem most times is not just sales, it's the fact that you don't know how to make irresistible offer that people want to pay for. And then the last one is scale. As you start your business, start beginning to think in terms of systems. Begin to think in terms of structure. Begin to build SOPs. Build a bank account that separates from you as an individual beginning to give receipts, documentations, have a follow-up system when referrals come into your business, nurture them until you convert them, and then have a customer database. This is very important because I want you to move from hustle to building a business that scales. Now, I love this quote by Michael Gabler says, if your business depends on you, you don't own a business, you own a job. So the idea at this point, even after you are like the only one that does everything in the business, is for you to scale so that the business can breathe off you, so that you can have the opportunity to work on the business, not in the business. So somebody can take up your SOP and deliver the same thing you would deliver on your own, as though you were there. It's important to start thinking in that direction. So if you're getting value from this video, why don't you hit the subscribe button? And if you want to join my Vision to Venture course that I did to help you start and grow well, it's an intense module and workshop recorded just for you. Why don't you click on the link below to join that course? Now, if you've gotten any value from this video, why don't you hit me up, ask questions in the comment section, and I'll be so glad to return back and answer those questions. Thank you for joining me in this video. See you at the top.